It looks like metal. It's ultralight. And it doesn't bend and it doesn't break. Must be alien. This is a series where I tell you a story, its subsequent theories and explanations, and I let you make up your mind. Today an extensive story and some increasingly bizarre explanations. Let's tell the story about the Roswell UFO crash. Sometime during the first week of July 1947, rancher W.W. McBrazel and the son of Floyd and Loretta Proctor rode their horses to check out on sheep after a fierce thunderstorm the night before. Brazel said as he rode around, he began to notice unusual pieces of metal-like debris scattered all over the place. After further investigation, they found a shallow trench several hundred feet long had been gouged out into the ground. A trench on a ranch, yeah, really strange. Mrs. Proctor remembers Brazel showing them the strange material. They thought he might be holding wreckage from an alien spacecraft, as several sightings had been reported in the USA that summer. A day or two later, Brazel reported the incident to Wilcox, who reported it to Major Jesse Marcel, intelligence officer for the 509th Bomb Group, stationed at Roswell Army Airfield. Yeah, when you find out a UFO, you immediately call the conspiracy specialists. Allegedly, a military radar had been tracking a UFO over southern New Mexico for 4 days before it went down near Roswell. On the morning of the 7th of July, Major Marcel took his first steps into the debris field. Later he remarked, something must have exploded above the ground and fell. He and his fellow officer Captain Cavett noted that the debris was strewn all over the place. Marcel described a kind of metal, weightless I-beam-like structures that would neither bend nor break, and metal debris of tinfoil thickness that was indestructible. Couldn't be made by man then. They gathered up some of the debris. Glenn Dennis, a young mortician working at Ballard Funeral Home, received a curious call from the military about some small, hermetically sealed coffins, and was asked how to preserve bodies exposed to the elements for a few days. Later, when visiting a nurse at the hospital, he saw pieces of wreckage with strange engravings. He was threatened by the military police and forced to leave. The nurse told him the next day about bodies being discovered along with the wreckage. The aliens have landed! Well, crashed anyway. July 8 at 11 a.m. Public Information Officer Lieutenant Walter Hout delivered a press release stating that the wreckage of a crashed disc had been recovered. Marcel later told Hout that debris he took from the field disappeared and was replaced by a weather balloon. Later that afternoon, Hout's original press release was rescinded and replaced, stating that the 509th Bomb Group had mistakenly identified a weather balloon as wreckage of a flying saucer. So they can't even agree amongst themselves. And then they want us to believe everything they say? On July 9th, cleanup crews boxed and stored the wreckage in a hangar at the base. So the previous was a summary of the story as told on the site of the Roswell UFO Museum. Since then, there have been many different versions of said story, notably one told by Lieutenant Colonel Richard French, who served in the military for 27 years and was in Alamogordo, New Mexico during the incident. He told the Huntington Post there were actually 2 crashes at Roswell. The first one was shot down by an experimental USA airplane with an electronic pulse weapon that disabled the UFO's electronics. French was subsequently ordered to debunk the UFO theory. Many, however, have rejected French's claims. The first theory is the obvious one. As you already deducted from the way I told the story, a UFO really crashed at Roswell. Alien bodies were found. The military did cover it up, and all evidence was brought to Area 51. It seems that every unexplained story involves aliens in Area 51 these days. I wonder why that is. Carl K. Korff did extensive research into the witnesses and wrote a book, The Roswell UFO Crash, What They Don't Want You to Know. He states that the hubbub surrounding the Roswell UFO didn't start until UFO researcher Stanton Friedman happened to meet Jesse Marcel no earlier than 1978. He states that Father Time was responsible for the flawed and sometimes altered memories of the witnesses. Moreover, some of them, most notably Loretta Proctor, allegedly changed her story on several occasions. He also depicts Jesse Marcel as having a tendency for exaggeration while repeatedly trying to write himself into the history books. Korff systematically dismantles and refuted other eyewitness testimonies as well. Trust me, you can trust nobody. Korff interviewed General Thomas Du Bois, who immediately stated that the debris of the crash was not switched as Marcel said. This was later confirmed by Irving Newton, who was present that day. Du Bois, however, was adamant that there was a cover-up. Project Mogul was a super-secret operation involving clusters of balloons equipped with various instruments for intelligence gathering. But although previous unpublished classified photos can be compared with the weather balloon pictures from the time, real evidence for this theory does not exist. Yeah, and apparently no witness testimony can be believed. Soon after the Second World War, it became apparent that the US was behind on advanced aircraft technology. So they began a frantic attempt to catch up. The knowledge came from captured German aircraft, Nazi scientists, as well as Japanese secret technology, and became known as Operation Paperclip. Amongst the technologies researched were high-altitude balloons the Japanese used in an attempt to launch bioweapons on North America. In an effort to keep this from the public, the recovered balloons were kept secret, as well as the theory that the Nazis were working at the production of some interesting, advanced flying crafts the Americans like to have. Amongst them, a single-wing aircraft called the Horton Ho 229. This research allegedly led to the B-2 stealth bombers. So they steal everything and then they say they invented it? Real civilized. Another prevailing theory is that the crash was of alien origin, but an attempt by benevolent aliens to balance the power structure on Earth. Yeah, like they care. The 2 intact alien craft crash landed near their topmost secret facilities in the southwest. It was soon discovered that the 3 surviving occupants were not of this Earth. It involves an operation called High Jump, an investigation and attack on a secret Nazi base on Antarctica. This allegedly led to a 12-member team being sent to set aliens' home planet, known as Operation Crystal Night. Well, we lost the majestic 12 pretty soon apparently. It is even claimed that the end of the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind portrayed the beginning of this mission. Yeah, Steven Spielberg, he's a little rascal. These are some of the most prevailing theories, one even more out of this world than the other. Many of these theories are so-called based on documents acquired through the Freedom of Information Act. However, the truth in this case may never be known. All the more reason for you to take an interest, because in the end, you decide. So, did you like the video? You can click the like button. You can leave comments in the box below. Hell, you can start a discussion group in there for all I care. If you haven't already and you want to see more, you can subscribe to my channel. And you can share this on your social media with your friends and people you never heard of. I have a vlog channel, so if you want to get bored out of your mind for a while, why don't you check it out? And you can follow me on various social medias, all links in the description below. See you next time!